Hello, everyone. This is Southern Belle Whisper. I hope you all are doing well today. It is a beautiful day here in Virginia, and I am off today. So I've decided I want to do a video for you guys. I'm throwing it back a little bit. I'm going to do a Draw My Life video. Now, I am not an artist at all. And let me zoom in just a little bit. I'm not an artist at all. I also don't have a whiteboard, I don't have an eraser, and I don't have a marker. But this is a pretty large notebook, so I thought I could at least use a few pages to do a Draw My Life video for you guys. So let's get started. I was born on January 18th, 1991. My name is Kelly, Kelli, and I think I was born 7 pounds, 7 ounces, and 21 inches long at 11:13 a.m. And let me zoom in just a little bit. There we go. I was born at Princeton Community Hospital, which both my parents worked at. Princeton Community Hospital. I'm trying. I told you guys it's not going to be perfect. So here's the hospital, and it's still there to this day. So Princeton Community Hospital. There's the hospital. And there's the road that leads up to the hospital. I was born to, I told you guys I'm not a good drawer at all. Like, I do stick figures. I was born to Marie and Mike. That's supposed to be a mustache. Mike. And my mom was 33, and my dad was 38. And I grew up with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 brothers. And Michael is the oldest. Stuart, Joe, Gabe, and Grant. That's all 5 of my brothers. And I was the youngest and the only girl. I'm trying. There's me trying to always hang out with them. So I was the only girl and I was the youngest. Going to school, I went to Jackson Memorial School from 1st grade until 4th grade, I think it was. So here's the school. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved school. I loved going to school because it got me out of the house. So here's the school. This is also the school where We were walking on a sidewalk on the way to our classroom. So here's the sidewalk. And I was running. Zoom, 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 and I fell on this sidewalk, and I busted my lip. So there's me, after trying to get up after I fell, because I didn't know how to tie my shoes. So that's when I fell at Jackson Memorial School, and I busted my lip wide open. I remember my best friend at the time, her name is Raven. They were right behind me. They were like, oh my God, Kelly, what happened? I was in 3rd grade when this happened. And so they ran up to me and was just making sure I was okay. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. And my mom was really angry that day because they did not call her. They did not let her know. I just showed up at their door with a busted lip. That was in 3rd grade. But I was always sad because I told you guys I was a very sick kid. Very sick. Always sick. I want to try to do a thermometer, but I don't want it to look wrong. So always sick. Always sick. Okay, that looks like a thermometer. And I had something called irregular tonsil tissue. So always sick. But I was also bullied a lot by mostly boys picking on me. Especially this one, and I'll never forget his name, Josh Bryant. He was a huge jerk to me. I remember one day I was, I really wanted to do something for the talent show that we were having. And there's the microphone in my hand. So I was really happy. It was a religious song. But after I'd sang, it was kind of the karaoke machine that was playing the song kept skipping. And then after I had finished, I walked by Josh, and he said that I sounded like a dying pig. Yeah, that hurt. I'm not gonna lie, that really hurt. But something that always saved my life is books. Always and forever books. Like Junie B. Jones and what else? Little House on the Prairie. And Boxcar Children. I loved Boxcar Children. And it just always made me happy, books always made me happy. Because my mama, God bless her, was always working so hard for us, because at that point my dad was disabled. He broke his back because somebody hit him on he was going across the street to mow, and he was on this tractor, and somebody hit him, and it broke his back. And then my mom was an RN, so she was always working. No, she was LPN, I'm sorry. So she was always working, always. But my dad loved to drink. So I'm gonna put Jack Daniels loved to drink. Alcohol had him by his clutches. And for years, him and my mom just always fighting and never getting along. And it really hurt me bad. Really, I just didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I felt very, what's the word for it? I felt like I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't do anything to stop it. Just, so she was always at work, and he was always drinking. So friends, books were like my friends. But I also loved, here's our TV. I also loved, I also liked watching TV because always when my dad was drinking, my mom would go turn on your TV, Kelly, and watch a movie. And one of my favorite movies at the time was The Lion King. That was my favorite Disney movie. And so I would watch it, and that always made me happy. I watched it over and over and over. I remember when I left it at my friend's house and never got it back. So I was always sad about that. And so, like I told you guys, I was always in the hospital, always sick. I had 4 tonsillectomies. And I never got ice cream, ever. And then I told you guys in a video that the 3rd surgery left me in a coma when I was 13 years old. So, yeah, that was a scary time. But I did okay. I never really had trouble with my tonsils after that surgery when I was 13. But what I loved the most was when I was in school. I took English. I loved creative writing. Like, if the teacher gave us something to write about, I loved to write. Absolutely loved it. Loved to write. Loved it. So, when I was 18 or 19? I was either 18, 19 years old when I wrote Sweet Angel of Mine for a competition, and I never really intended to win, but I did, and that was one of the proudest moments of my life. I mean, I loved it, absolutely loved. I never thought I'd win, but I did. I did win. I won Best Short Story of the county winner. I'll never forget the day that they announced the winners, because at first they announced like the, first place, second place, third place, and then they announced the county winners. And I'll never forget calling my mom at work, and that was like one of the first things I wanted to do, was call her at work and tell her. I couldn't believe it. Oh, one of the best things in the world. let's talk about relationships a little bit. Okay, relationships. When I was 16, so it was 2007, I met Aaron. I forgot. He was just, he had his little quirks I didn't like because he didn't really brush his teeth. Like I would have to tell him to brush his teeth. But he was sweet, kind, and he never said a bad word towards me, ever. But I obviously had, like, nothing would make me happy. I was a typical teenager. And, like, he tried his best with me, you know? But in, I think it was June of 2009, I met James. Now, I had met him when I was 15, and you guys are going to be so disgusted by me. I had met him at a family reunion. Now, okay, before you turn off this video, he was not my family. He wasn't my family. We weren't related or anything like that, but I met him when I was 15 before I even met Aaron. And I remember at that time, I lost a bunch of weight. My doctor put me on Phentermine, and I lost a bunch of weight, was looking good, and he caught my eye because I always said how I wanted to meet a guy with blonde hair and blue eyes. So he had blonde hair and blue eyes, and Aaron, poor guy, we stopped talking around January of 2010. No, 2000. No, yeah. It was like the end of 2009 or the beginning of 2010. He just said, I can't do this anymore. He just texted me and said, I can't do this anymore, because by then we were broken up. That's a whole story just by itself. I can do a video if you'd like. But we got engaged in June of 2008. He asked me to marry him in front of all our friends, and I forgot about that part. Yep, he asked me to marry him and gave me a ring and everything, and my mom was elated. She always really loved Aaron, but I forgot to put that in there, that we did get engaged at Myrtle Beach in 2008. And then I broke his heart around 2009, 2010. But James didn't last either. Like, it was a long-distance relationship. It wasn't even a relationship, to tell you the truth. So, he went bye-bye. And then my mom was dying for me to find somebody to take me to the prom in 2010. So in comes Andy. He was a redhead. He was tall, but he was very skinny. And he took me to the prom. And let me tell you guys, like, that dress I wore to the prom, I had found it at a thrift store, and I wish I could draw it. I'll have to show you pictures one time. But it fit me like a glove, and I loved it. I found Andy, by the way, on Facebook. He had known one of my cousins. Her name is Kim. But I didn't find out until later that he had had a relationship with her. But that didn't last either. He was a bum. He played guitar. You know, it's always guitar players are the assholes. He loved playing guitar. See, I told you guys I'm not. So that didn't work. We dated though for about 1 year. And then let's see, in 2012, I got a big crush, on a boy at church named Daniel. He was a really sweet guy. He was a little younger than me, I think a couple years younger than me. But I had a huge crush on him, like, oh my gosh. And he also had a sister that I kind of named Christine, that I was kind of just friends with and hung out with because of him. Because I remember me, him, and his sister went to go see Gravity together. In 2013, I told you all about that story. I met my husband. I met him through his mom. She was a piano player at my church. And we went to go see Daniel. I was supposed to go see Catching Fire with Daniel and Christine, but he canceled at the last minute. And so I invited Joel to go along with us, my ex. And he was tall, he was handsome, and he knew all the right things to say. And so I immediately fell in love with him. And on Christmas Day in 2013, I proposed to him in front of his whole family. And we were happy. Like, he had told me, he had been honest about his past, about his drug past. And he had told me, he said, Kelly, I'm not perfect, but I do have a drug past. But I swear I'll love you for the rest of our lives. And red flags started popping up. Like, he yelled at his mom on that Christmas that I proposed to him. He yelled at his mom for because she had gotten computers for all her children for Christmas, and his brother Jimmy was rich, and he didn't understand why his mom had to buy Jimmy a computer too. So he yelled at her, and I don't know, that was the first red flag. The second red flag, sorry, my phone keeps, the second red flag was on our honeymoon. Here's me in our bed, like, all alone and dissatisfied, because him and his best friend Derek, he invited his best friend, who was a heroin user, on our honeymoon. And I was left alone in bed, dissatisfied. And I've already told you guys what all happened with him. If you're new here, just pretty much November of 2023, he threw this big fit because he had already got in a fight with my dad But imagine he's 6'6". My mom is 5'3", and she had already had 5 strokes and everything, and he called her a bitch and a slut to her face. And I told him, like, I was mad. Oh God, I was mad. I wanted to kill him when he did that. I said, you need to go. I said, you need to leave and don't even come for Thanksgiving. That was November 22nd, which just happens to be my favorite number. So since November 22nd, 2023, I have not seen my husband or my ex. I've talked to him a few times. But I realized I was talking to my sister-in-law, and I was like, I'm just the kind of person, I'm an empath. I don't want to hurt anybody. I know how it feels to hurt somebody, because the way I hurt Aaron, remember? And I said, I just hate the thought of somebody being alone and hurting because of me. So I've talked to him a few times since I've been here. But then every time I talked to him, it felt like I was taking a step back. Like, here's the past. Here's the present. And here's the future. Every time I talk to him, I felt like I was taking a step back. And it just brought up so many old memories when all I want to do is look towards the future. But now, I'm so much stronger than I've ever been. And I've got my friends. I have 2 best friends. Danielle and Alexis. I forgot to talk about Joe a little bit. I want to talk about him. I know, I'm a horrible drawer. He passed away in October 13th of 2022. He was only 43 years old. He was my estranged brother. We had not talked in 6 years when he passed away. But I still grew up with him, and I still loved him no matter what. And when he passed away, and my poor mama, she was just absolutely heartbroken, like, and there's nothing I could do. My husband refused to. He hated her. He was always talking bad about her, always saying mean things about her. And I knew she needed me. I knew she was here and she needed me, and there was just nothing I could do. I was completely hopeless. I was depressed. I'd given up. Internally, I'd given up because I could do a story time with you guys about certain. But now I am vibrant. I'm happy. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. And if it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for God, let me see if I can draw a cross. If it wasn't for God, I don't know where I'd be right now. Seriously, because he has always been there. I can't tell you guys the God winks that I've seen since I've been here. I mean, he's everything to me. And this is actually my journal that I wrote when I did my purpose-driven life. And I just want to thank him for everything. I know that was a quick little drama life, but I pretty much got all the important parts in there. But I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Everybody have a great, beautiful day.